Ho, ho, ho! Oh, I'm sure you all thought it was the real Santa, but it's just me, CTO Larsson. But I do have a real Christmas gift for our members, so stay to the end. And today is a real anniversary. On December 13th, Lucia Day in 2021, exactly 1 year ago, Larsson Line flipped blue at $49,000. And today, exactly 1 year later, on 13th December, we're at 17,800 right now, and 17,300 when I began preparing for this video. So if you follow the Larsson Line process and buy back today, you have almost 3 times as many Bitcoin, more if you shorted the blue flip, and even more if you did this for some altcoins that also flipped blue in the same period and then had 90 to 95% drawdowns. So, what could be a better day for the hopes of a Bitcoin bottom? So, is it? Of course, we got the encouraging CPI data today, where prices of all items hadn't gone up as much as many thought. But is today just a short-term spike, or what does it mean? I've made an updated scorecard for today, but first, today is a very special day here, so Bitcoin headquarters clearly times its price action with Sweden in mind, because today is the Lucia Day, where we eat lussekatt, which is a saffron bun, and dress up in funny clothes, which to some US audience may not have a good look to it, but here it symbolizes the Star of Bethlehem. And it's really beautiful when observed in an old cathedral with snow and cold outside. Sun sets at 3 p.m. here in Sweden at this time of the year. First, let's see how this looked about 2 months ago, on October 25th. And to just orient ourselves, that was here in terms of price action. Then it kind of looked like this. There was no bottom pattern in the chart. Instead, at that time, we had this descending triangle forming. Trend, meaning Larsson Line, was solid blue. This support level, however, showed some strength, but it just held, it didn't hold and rally. The retracement target from the top felt too small. The pattern target from the double top here had not been reached. The grayscale BTC discount looked bad, and on October 25th, the DXY parabola was still intact. So it looked really bad. No bottom in sight. Then over here, things got a little bit better. We cleared this level, so we got a bounce. Trend turned neutral, support kept holding, and now it held and bounced. And around that time, DXY started showing first signs of breaking the parabola. So it started looking pretty good. But did Larsson Line flip gold? No, it did not. So in the end, these were nice to have indications, but I never got the big trigger that I needed to take proper action at that time. Fortunately, because we did dump. And since we were mostly sidelined, the more we dump, the better, right? Because the lower prices we get. So I was very happy when this broke down. And I'm sure you too, if you followed and came to the same conclusion. So, not bad. I hope you're entertained. Now, before we go into the current status, I can't predict the future. Charts don't predict the future. Larsson Line doesn't predict the future. All I can do is help you see setups in the market. Point of favorable risk reward. But then you have to execute on that strategy. If you don't, you won't succeed. And if you don't understand what this means, and you don't know how to calculate the position sizes, and you don't use stop losses, you should educate yourself first and not do anything in the markets before that, in my opinion. Because otherwise you have like 90% probability to lose money over time, based on statistics. And now isn't the same as the decade we had before this, where you could do anything in the markets and make money. Here is Nasdaq, which flipped gold on Larsson Line in December 2009, and then it was gold until March 2022. In a straight line up, you could do anything here and make money, you didn't need a strategy. But now it's blue. The environment right now is different. Now only the people who know what they are doing make money. And clearly that excluded quite a few crypto billionaires this year, actually. Everyone who had been against education, against tool, and promoted just winging it based on gut or tweets, they were wrong. They were always wrong. Now, more people have discovered that for themselves, which is one of the good things that I think will come out of 2022. People will up their skill and walk into the next cycle better equipped. So what comes next is not financial advice for you. I can't tell you if you should buy or sell. You need to do that for yourself. But I can do TA on charts and present you with facts that you can check for yourself. And the first fact comes right at the top of the scorecard of today. Is there a chart bottom? And yes, there is. It's perhaps hard to see in this view. Let's switch to the line and you will see it better. It's ugly, but here's a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, and it's on much shorter time frames than I would have liked, but still, for the first time in a while, we do have a bottom pattern. You could almost expect this before we broke out of this mini range here, because we had a flagpole, a flag, which more often than not breaks in the same direction as the pole. Could also argue that it's some sort of rounded bottom here. Also, this assumes that price closes here, which is a big assumption with everything going on. So chart bottom is a yes. But what about trend direction? Well, that's still down. There's no two ways about it. It's down on the daily, it's down on the weekly, and despite the recovery today, it hasn't even flipped up on the 12-hour time frame, though it's no longer down there. So that one's a no. But then comes something interesting that we didn't talk about previously. Market reaction to news. Many times the bottom isn't marked by a massive positive piece of news which sends the price back up. It's also often not a mega crash either. Quite often the point where you can smell a bottom is when there are negative news and nothing happens. I've said this over the past couple of weeks, and I feel that the last weeks we have had this situation. Bombshells exploding everywhere, Binance articles talking about arresting the leadership team, the block, the only place we trusted, had taken all their money from SPF and not disclosed it. We have worries about grayscale unlock, and with all those things happening, Bitcoin stays flat or even moves up. I talked about it as late as yesterday if you listened to that show. So this one, mega gold. Next then, retracement target. And this means that based on historical data, we've often retraced around 85%. And that we have not quite reached. It's minus 77.6%. But I mean, it's pretty close to 80. And as someone pointed out, if we take inflation into account, we've actually retraced more in real value. So this one could get a pass. Let's put it at neutral. Next one, did we reach the target of the previous major longer time frame pattern? And that pattern was this double top. Then the distance from here to here is the target, which would actually have taken us a little bit lower to 13-14k. And actually we never got there. So that one's a no. Next then, the GBTC discount. Has that started trending up? Let's see, yesterday, December 12, no, it's worse than ever. Remember here in October it was like 35%, then in November it was like 36 to 42%. So people are willing to sell their GBTC shares at a price which corresponds to half the current Bitcoin price, which yesterday then was down here at 8,600. We'll come back to that a little bit, but that's definitely a no, it's a double no. Next, the DXY parabola. And unless you've been sleeping under a stone, you can't possibly have missed that this parabola broke conclusively and hard, either in late October or in early November, depending on which of these parabolas we used. So solid gold on that one. Then, given all the events that's going on, I've added one category. Is there a low risk for another catastrophic event? And I can't say I'm sure about that. Today the whole Twitter feed is full of Binance FUD. People are withdrawing. What about the smaller exchanges? I don't know, like KuCoin. How are they doing? No idea. USDT, which has felt like it's been on the brink of collapse for, 5 years now. DCG, Digital Currency Group, the parent company of Genesis and Grayscale. If Genesis gets into real problem because of the FTX exposure, and that affects the parent company DCG, and in turn Grayscale, which starts to unwind, OMG, because that's over 600,000 BTC. which is more than all of Binance's users together. And if there is one thing we have learned during 2022 is that it's very difficult to see into these companies from the outside. Then there is, in my opinion, another major one that could happen, which is minor capitulation. I'll make a separate video about that. We cannot say there's a low risk for another catastrophic event. The whole industry seems pretty unstable at this point. So coming to the conclusion before Santa, it's a mixed bag, but a lot more yellow here than it's been in a long time. We don't have Larsson Line gold yet, that's a fact. So anything I do here will be very cautious, with small positions and ruthless to cut it at the slightest sign of problems. But I did open a small position inside this rectangle, as I shared in the Discord server for those of you who are members, because like I said in the beginning, it's not about predicting the future, it's about finding setups. And we did have a setup here, where we had two invalidation points. First we had a very near invalidation point, which kind of happened around here. But then we had a bigger, more serious invalidation point, which would be this one, at 15,750. If this level breaks, there seems to be more downside in the cards. Means that the downside risk was something like 10%. But I'm acting very differently here than if Larsson Line had been gold, meaning my proxy for trend being up rather than down. The real test in terms of chart construction will be this level, 18,600. Trend reversal and clearing this level at 21,500, finally invalidating this descending triangle once and for all if we get there. If those things happen, Larsson Line turns back up and we reclaim key levels as support, then I will take bigger positions and be more aggressive. If you've learned nothing else this year, I think you've learned that HODL sucks. You can see it right in front of you here, and you can go back and check the history and see that it's not an after construction. And that's for Bitcoin. The difference on any other altcoin is much bigger, because the moves up and the moves down are even crazier. I'm standing prouder than ever when I'm recommending my course, my set of tools, my process, and my community. And everyone who joins as a member this week will get not one, not two, but 3 things by Santa. The HODL sucks socks, the yellow-blue circle socks, and then if you can't recall the current trend, you can always put gaff tape over the other colors. Joke, don't put tape on your socks. And we're upgrading the mug warmer to a bottle warmer, because when we're sitting hot in the next bull run in the sun with a cold beer, the bottle drips and it gets warm. Then CTO got your back. This is actually a $100 package. It's the best quality socks money can buy, by this incredible guy Zach with his company Freakers that has so many incredible designs. Existing members will get theirs too. I'm gonna end up paying $100,000 in socks for you guys. Worth it, because it's fun. They are being produced now, so estimate is that they should arrive on your feet by mid to end January. And you get it by going to www.ctolarsson.com and press course and indicator and buy the course. If you're not ready to invest in education, in your own skills and capabilities, in real tools that actually work, and ready to put in own effort and consistency, well, no socks for you.
No socks for you!
Thank you, tack. CTO Larsson out. Hej då!